Brian Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority. 105.9 FM. AM 630. WMAL.
7:37 on the Morning Majority. Is that okay?
Sounds great, Brian.
Okay, good. Apparently I had a booger whistle.
You didn't need to repeat that.
I know, but I didn't know.
Somebody was rude enough to text it.
Well, I apologize if my booger whistle bothered anybody. Listen, let's move on.
Now everybody knows about it.
I just hate it when that
We were doing
happens.
so well this morning.
All right, KT McFARLAND will try to bring us out of this low point in our broadcast.
Good luck, KT.
KT
Let's have a little adult supervision.
Thank you.
Is, of course, a Fox News national security analyst and host of FoxNews.com's DEF CON 3, which can be heard today at 2 p.m. right on live.foxnews.com. KT, good to have you. Hey, look, I want to start by laying out something that I sort of talked about yesterday. We had a tremendous discussion about it here on this broadcast. There's several things going on in the world right now. Let me pick out two or three. We have something going on in the form of a covert action against Iran. We don't know exactly what's going on there, but there's something going on there. And there's always the possibility that what is covert could become a hot war. In North Korea, a story yesterday that they're building mobile ICBMs. These are big intercontinental ballistic missiles that are on big trucks that can be moved around. And these missiles are capable. They're hard to find, by the way, because they can move them, but they're capable of hitting the United States. This morning, there is a story that quotes China's Hu Jintao in a message to the Chinese Navy is saying, prepare for combat, telling his Navy to prepare for combat. Then we also see that we're facing a time in which we are going to force our military to go through a painful sequestration process that will take out $1 trillion out of the defense budget over 10 years. Is this the time for us to be cutting back?
Yeah, are you nervous yet? Of course it's not the time to be cutting back, but it's also the time to be reassessing where we should put our defense priorities. We have spent the last 10 years focused on a part of the world that I think doesn't matter that much to us, Afghanistan, to a lesser extent Pakistan, and we've avoided the parts of the world that do, like the Pacific, like the relationship with China, like America's access to energy. And I think we've also ignored the growing threats that are going to come from various regions from missiles, whether they're going to come from North Korea, whether they're going to come from the Middle East, whether they're going to come from South Asia. And we have, unfortunately, cut back on the one program that would defend us against that, which is missile defense. So I think we're cutting, which is a mistake, and I think we're putting our resources in the wrong baskets.
North Korea loves to make noise, but they've been quiet for quite some time now. Does that concern you that they've been quiet?
No, I think if you look at the North Korea pattern, every time we get up to a major Western American holiday, they start making noise.
But they haven't done that in a little bit.
Well, we're getting up to Christmas.
All right.
They don't like the fact that we're ignoring them. To me, though, what is much more worrisome about North Korea is not that it is going to make weapons that it can wake up on some Tuesday morning and decide it wants to take out, San Francisco.
Right.
I think far more worrisome with North Korea is it doesn't make anything the world wants. It can't export anything that the world wants to buy, and yet it has a country where people are starving and don't have energy sources, and it's the worst economy in the world. So what's likely to happen is let's take a scenario where 2 years from now Iran has nuclear weapons. Then every country in the Middle East has already said they want nukes of their own. Saudi Arabia said it, United Arab Emirates, Turkey will probably want nuclear weapons. Egypt, if it could get its act together, would want them. Where are they going to find them? Well, if you've got a North Korea which has nothing to sell except nuclear weapons, nuclear bombs and missiles, where are they likely to sell it to? Rich guys in the Middle East. So you could see a situation where very quickly that entire region nukes up, and then if you have the single most dangerous and chaotic part of the world where everybody's got a nuclear weapon, the likelihood of the next war in the Middle East, and there is always another war in the Middle East, goes nuclear.
Wow. So, KT, 70 years ago today, Pearl Harbor. And we were just talking to Craig Shirley about his fabulous new book on Pearl Harbor. But, everything's different. But what are the lessons from that we ought to be applying to today?
No, everything actually is the same. If you take a map of what the Japanese claimed is the Asian co-prosperity sphere, right before Pearl Harbor, where they put their boundaries out in the area that they claimed in the Western Pacific as theirs. It's the same area that the Chinese have now recently, in the last year, put out a map talking about the South China Sea as an internal Chinese lake. They're talking about the same map. It's the same area that they claim they want to dominate. Now, the other thing that remains the same is access to energy. One of the reasons the Japanese said they had to do Pearl Harbor was because the United States was cutting off their source of gasoline and energy sources, and so they felt they had to somehow, I guess, attack the United States to reassert their ability to get energy. What's the world arguing over today? Energy. Mm-hmm. How do we solve these problems? I think it is so simple. It's scary. Drive the price of oil down. You drive the price of oil down, you, A, improve the U.S. economy, B, the Russians are on their knees, and most importantly, the Arab-rich oil countries in the Middle East they don't have enough money to feed their own people. They won't have any extra to get in trouble. Now, how would you drive down the price of oil? The United States in the last 3 years, through its engineering and technological genius, has come up with ways to get oil out of sand, out of shale, how to get natural gas drilled, how to drill onshore and offshore, have a pipeline from Canada to the United States. We should go to all of these energy sources and say, do it. Just do it. And then the United States is the new energy capital of the world, and it solves a lot of problems very quickly.
Drill, baby, drill. Bring back that motto
drill.
For 2012 instead of 2008 to recycle it. KT, always good to have you on. Thanks very much.
Thanks, KT.
Pleasure.